what I'm going to show you today is a really simple, really simple portrait edit using Lightroom with one of my own presets, one of the Dare presets. Okay, so we've got a photograph of Jesse here. There's not a lot going on in this image, other than some really nice light spilling in from the window on the left, and we've got some really nice colour on his little Spidey pajamas there, and obviously a handsome little model. So we've got a good start. But I want to show you my presets. Now, if you look on the left-hand side, we've got a whole bunch of presets here. There's a lot of the old Visco presets, which are pretty good, and some other odds and ends. But around about 18 months ago, I got into creating my own presets. I have 3 collections. So I have the Soul set, I have the Blackbird set, which is all black and white, and then the Portrait set, which pretty much does what it says on the tin. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the other presets. I may look at that in another tutorial and go through them individually. We're going to concentrate on the Portrait set, and when I've set out creating these portraits, predominantly what I was interested in is just creating some really nice skin tones. So hopefully we've cracked it. So let's have a look. So we've got faces 1. Well, it's called the faces, so that's faces 1 through to 5. Okay, and so variations of contrast, saturation, and obviously clarity, that kind of a thing. So let's start with the faces 1. Okay, and there we have it. I mean, what we're going to do, which I didn't check, is the white balance. I think we're pretty much spot on. So if we go to this tool on the right hand side, this little droplet, the temperature droplet, and then what we want to do is find like a neutral part of the photograph. So perhaps the skirting board down here, it's like this little grey area, and then by doing that, it should snap the whites into place so that they're white. So, and let's do a before and after. So view before and after, and there we go. We've got I kind of like that as it is. So we're coming out, and then let's just jump way up to the top rung of the ladder with faces 5. As you can see, that's like a little bit too much for this image. It's a lot punchier. It's a lot more contrast in that preset. And this is, the faces 5 is great for when you've got like backlit images, when the image is perhaps a little bit washed out, a little bit flat, adds a real kick to the image. But let's dull that back. So faces 1. In actual fact, let's go to faces 3. I think the pajamas there, the old Spidey pajamas, is a little bit too much for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump down on the right hand side to where we've got hue, saturation, and luminance, and I'm just going to drop the reds and then mute the blues a little. Just drop those as well. So just balance things out a little bit. And then let's do a before and after and see how it's looking. Yeah, I like that. It's a lot better. I'll tell you what I don't like on the left hand side here. I don't even actually, if you'd be able to see it at this size, is the wallpaper. My hallway is in serious need of redecorating. But what we can do, see this tool on the top right, this graduated filter tool. So if we click on that, and then what we're going to do, we're going to drag this over on the left hand, from left to right, bottom left to right. So we're kind of following the gradient that's already there, and we'll pull that right up. And then what we're going to do is the sliders now on the right hand side, when we manipulate them, they're going to inform that selection on the left. We'll just drop the exposure, and that just covers a multitude of sins on that wall. I mean, the wall's a little bit grubby anyway, right? But I think it kind of works for this photograph. So let's have a look now. View before and after. Is that a bit too much? I don't know, I kind of like it. I'm going to show you another little trick, because it's a bit too simple, this tutorial. On the right hand side again, we've got the brush tool. Can you see this up here? When we click on that, we can then brush the image, right? So what we can do is, if we go here to custom, and what I would always do is, so you go new and go to custom and then perhaps choose dodge shadows. And then what it's going to do, it will default all the other sliders, like exposure, contrast, highlights. It will throw them all back to, well, it hasn't with exposure. It obviously doesn't touch that. Everything else is thrown back to 0. And except for shadows, which is what we're using, dodge shadows. But we'll drag that back to, and then we'll start from 0 with everything. And then what I'm going to do, we're creating like a little custom brush. So we're going to push the highlights. We're going to push the clarity. We're going to push the blacks up, push the shadows up. We're just going to brighten things up a little bit on with Jesse's pajamas here, and the exposure slightly. And then now when we brush the shirt, computer's running a bit slow. It's taking, there we go. So that's a nice little pop. What you can do, we've brushed this shirt now, but even after the fact, we can still fool around here with the sliders. See, on the right hand side, and we can just fine tune things a little bit, right? Maybe the saturation, maybe bump the saturation back up a little bit. So another little tip: view before and after. There we go. Hey guys, I think it was a very simple that. Hopefully not too simple. Hey guys, okay, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, notifications if you want updates on further tips and tricks. So stay tuned. Thanks guys.